Peace and blessings. Welcome back to Spiritual Love Tarot. I'm Giovanna. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I'm an energy healing practitioner, also a massage therapist, spiritual life coach. I'm a lot of things. And I really enjoy reading tarot for myself as a spiritual and personal practice, and just doing it for others as well. And just talking about tarot because I love it. So I created this channel a while ago and then I archived it, but wanted to revive it because I feel the need to just create space just for this, for myself. It's more of a passion project than anything else. I do offer readings if someone's interested in booking a reading. But mainly this channel is for me to do what I love, which is talk about tarot. I have a pretty big tarot collection and I have not had access to most of my collection for a while. So this also gives me the added beauty of doing deck studies, sharing that information here. So it's kind of like, I guess, a tarot journal, blog, podcast type of thing, because I do want to have conversations with other people within the tarot community, creators and readers alike. So that is what I desire to create here. Before I started this, I was actually trying to find my first tarot journal and I couldn't find it. But I do have, and I'm dropping things out of it, this would be my second tarot journal. My first one was like a 5-star ring notebook, and that is where I started learning tarot. So as I was sitting thinking about my own tarot journey, how I came to read the cards and things like that, my interest in tarot started at a very, very early age. As a child, I knew that I was, well, I didn't know that I was intuitive, but I was intuitive. I was able to connect with other worldly beings, and I was just very much able to pick up on the energies around me. So I always knew that there was something else, right? There's something more than this 3D realm that we see and know. So I was fascinated by ghost stories, by history, and I would read a lot of like science fiction, ghost stories, especially local folklore around ghost stories and like the shipwrecks off the North Carolina coast, all of those things. And I loved playing with cards. I knew that tarot cards were a thing. And it wasn't until I would see those commercials with Miss Cleo that like I started to feel normal. Like I knew that there were other people that looked like me that had these same experiences as I did. And I always wanted to have a tarot deck. But as a child, like there was nowhere for me to go. There was no Amazon. They didn't have like Spencer's, or did they? I wouldn't know. At that time, I was think around like maybe, I know I was in elementary school when I started seeing Miss Cleo's commercials and all of that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like she gets me, I know her. And I remember wanting to like call her to talk to her, but we can't call. And then they bill the fund. Like, no, I didn't want to die either. So for my safety, I did not call Miss Cleo, although she was a very important like role model for me. And I didn't realize it until I got older, how impactful just seeing her on TV, doing tarot readings, saying she was a psychic and all of that meant to me, which is very unfortunate because a lot of people have tarnished her reputation. But anyways, that's another story. So she kind of, like I said, helped me feel normal. And I was always interested in tarot and witchcraft and magic and all of these esoteric principles. And so as I grew older, I would say some of my intuitive gifts I wasn't as in direct connection with as much, or either they just changed. And then I had a life-changing experience. I won't talk about that right now, but maybe later, that led me into like grasping at straws, trying to find help, trying to understand what I was going through. And I turned to tarot in like 2005. So that is when I got my first tarot deck. I believe I bought it off of like Craigslist. I think it was like $5. I have it. It is, oh, it's right here. This was my first deck, the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck. This is actually still in really good condition. I will always keep it because it was my first introduction to tarot, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Looking at the cards, I didn't connect with the artwork. I was like, I can't do this. So I put the cards away. I knew I wanted to read the cards. I knew that there was something in them for me. It was just what I was going through at the time. I was way too sensitive to the imagery. I couldn't connect with the imagery. So the second deck that I got, where is it? I should have had these ready. Well, this isn't the exact second deck, but it was this. I have another copy, but it's on the bottom, and it'll be a whole situation with me trying to take it out in a quick manner. So I got the Angel Tarot cards, and that was my start into reading. Of course, these images are much gentler, easier to connect with and understand. Plus, angels are something that I was familiar with. They were in the Bible, so it made more sense that this was easier for me to read so that I could reconcile all the, oh my God, tarot is evil type crap that people say. Tarot is not evil. It is pictures, and sometimes pictures with words on paper at its core, period. That is what it is. It's no different to me than walking into a museum or an art gallery and seeing all the different works of art on the wall and it evoking a feeling or an image or a song or a thought, a word. So that's how I look at it. It's like art interpretation. That is my most simplistic way of explaining tarot cards to people who don't understand it. And sometimes that helps them, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's not my business. So that is how I got into reading cards, and I have a lot of Doreen Virtue's cards because her work at that time was very instrumental to my healing. So I am grateful for her and the body of work that she created, no matter how she may feel about it today. Her work saved my life. And that introduced me to Radley, who is, you know, also this beautiful angel healing teacher and practitioner. And it just opened up my world to so many things. I really treasure these tools and the different teachers that have been a part of my tarot journey. So I did not take any tarot classes. I learned to read on my own by pulling cards, journaling about the card, tuning into my intuition, reading through the guidebook. And then I remember there came a point, I would say maybe 2 years in, that the guidebook started not making sense. From what I was picking up intuitively, the guidebook didn't make sense. And so that's when I started relying on my own intuition, like, okay, the cards are telling me something different, and this is what I'm going to go with because this book don't make sense. And so I started reading intuitively and have not looked back. I did delve into some tarot courses, I want to say maybe 10, around 2017, 2018. I went through Biddy Tarot's program. I studied, my first tarot teacher was Jessica Brown. It was a course on Udemy, and it was super helpful. Appreciate that course so much. But I've studied with a number of different teachers. I've studied with Lindsay Mack. I've gone through her work. I've gone through Sal Jade's work. That was very helpful in helping me to open up my psychic gifts. I am an energy healing practitioner. I am a Reiki master, a crystal healing practitioner. EFT practitioner. I've studied a lot of different healing modalities. Even within Reiki, I have a number of Reiki certifications in different traditions. All of this informs my work, even in massage. Being an energy healing practitioner helps me because I can energetically support relaxing the muscles, relaxing the mind, relaxing the spirit in a session. So I think it's really beautiful. And I'm working on finding a way to weave readings into my work, whether it is like a chakra wellness reading, pulling stones, I don't know. So I have a lot of beautiful things that that I want to share and do in my work and just in general. So I got a little sidetracked, but this is my first, well, not my first, but this is my big tarot journal. And oh my gosh, speaking of wellness readings, I have right here health readings or wellness readings, because right, we can't treat or diagnose, whatever. So wow, this is interesting and helping people understand the energy. Like I have it right here on paper, and this is from so long ago. I remember doing a maternity or fertility reading for someone, and it was very interesting because of how what I read in that reading, how it manifested, how it showed up. And it was scary to me because like it was phenomenal, but I was able to pick up on some challenges, and the pregnancy was fine, and I do believe their baby was born with some genetic condition. And that to me was like, I don't know, I had to reconcile that. Like I know I did not cause it, but yeah, I don't know. It's never easy when it comes to challenging things like that, especially around health and wellness. But yeah, so it looks like I've already got that mapped out, so I could potentially add it back in. And doing chakra readings, I really love doing those. So I just wanted to kind of peek through here, and some of these notes go back to like 2020, and I know before that as well. Gosh, I have so many notes everywhere. This is from September 2018. My paper is changing colors. It's so old. Oh. Yeah, so during this time, I was also doing a lot of moon magic. I've got my little keyword charts from back in the day. Yeah, so this is from August 2018. I wrote why I want to study tarot. How did I get started with tarot? And just a list of different courses and decks and things like that. So I will kind of just share what's in here so you can see. So I have a section for, I probably won't hold it up because this book is massive, but I like my little dividers. So I've got a section for the major arcana, a section for the minors, court cards. There are spreads, and and then I would do like my deck interview. So I have a section with different decks. The last one that I have in here is the Green Witch Tarot. And I love that I shared how I consecrated the deck, because once my collection grew to a challenging size where I couldn't easily manage it, or I had like 10 decks coming in at a time, I've started to find that I wasn't as intentional about creating that connection with my deck. I can still read with them, and of course they're still special, but there's something about those decks that I really sit and work with intentionally to consecrate them. And I was trying to think, like, what did I do? I knew I used like the elements, and I would cleanse them and clear them. I would set them on my altar. Sometimes I would like carry the deck or sleep with it under my pillow. There were different things that I would do. And so I'm glad that I found this because I have it documented here what I did with this particular deck. And it did depend on like the theme of the deck, what I would do with it as well. What else is in here? I have a space for like elemental study, symbolism with little tabs for like different symbols, numerology, color, blah, 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 astrology. And then I have a section on shadow work because that's super important. There's a section for my readings. Oh, this is from July 2018. Yeah, so this, let me see what else is in here. And so now I kind of feel like it's not as easy for me to sit and write things out because so much information comes through. And so I found it really helpful for me to record my readings. I would initially just do an audio recording, but I like the video. So that's kind of another reason why I decided to create this channel so I could share. This is from 2015. We went back. Interesting. Yep. Okay. So what else is in here? Different challenges and spreads. So I have a section for spreads, whether they are mine or ones that I've gathered across social media, and then lots and lots of blank paper to continue filling in this journal, which has actually been in stores. So it's going to be really interesting to like go back and read through some of, oh, these are some tarot challenges that I was doing too. Yeah, to go back and read through some of my notes and to see what has changed, what has evolved, what stayed the same, if, you know, any of my processes need to be updated or whatever. So that is one of the tarot journals that I have. I feel like there's another one. Let me see. This is a spread library that I've created. Most of these, oh goodness, most of these are my own custom spreads that I use in readings with clients. I have a little table of contents. It's nothing fancy, but it works. The Spirit Work spread that I have is super powerful. I use particular decks in that spread. That I love activator reading, a business alignment spread, abundance code reading, conversation with money spread. The money spreads that I create and use are really, really dope and powerful spreads. So yeah, and so if I do find a spread that's not my own and write it in here, I do credit like whoever created it and where I found it, just, you know, so we can stay within integrity. And then I have this, which is my Dust to Onyx journal. Like, man, I'm very surprised that all the information fit in here. This is from Courtney's teaching that she did earlier this year through the spiral. Blown away. Her work actually was very transformative to me in how I view and understand tarot. So there's a lot of her work that I'm working on digesting and integrating into my practice as well. And yeah, so those are some of my decks. I feel like there's another tarot journal, like my big teal one, but I could be wrong. So, but those are just some of my tarot journals that I will be working with and through. Like I said, I'll be doing a lot of videos and just sharing what I'm doing, what my process is as far as everything's concerned. I want to get back into the habit of having a more ritualistic approach to my readings, meaning like getting back into connection with my decks, since a majority of them have been away from me for about 4 years. That means I can kind of go back through that process, get to know my decks again, and just share in that with you. So stay tuned, because I have a lot of decks, and I would like to do like a deck connection and deck study, and just really get into the cards, and yeah, just share all of that. So thank you for being here. My website is JavonnaTisdale.com, or you can just go to spirituallovetarot.com and it will take you there. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to create a separate site, but something's telling me I possibly will, but that's not something I'm going to do right now. So for now, everything will be on YouTube, and I do have a TikTok as well. I had an Instagram. The account is still there, but I got locked out of it. So if you go there, there's like my link in there where you can find all the different ways to connect with me and stuff. So that is it, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to more tarot talk in the coming days. Peace.